What's going on, y'all? Want to welcome you back to the Raw Report. And today we're going to talk about strategy. I'm going to give you a cheat code, and it's not a secret formula. I mean, it's world. Everybody knows it. But everybody's not using it, especially nowadays with social media and all the different things. But the cheat code is basically communication. It's something everybody try to tell you about, and we're not using it these days. The cheat code is basically communication. That's the whole cheat code. And the fact that you just laughed when I said it, it basically tells me why your life looking the way that it is right now. Because a lot of y'all think communication is a soft skill, and it's not. It's pretty much the doorway that almost everything in life has to pass through. Whether it's a job, friendships, relationships, healing, opportunity, every single one of those things requires you to open your mouth. You got to say something real, and it requires you to sit there in the room long enough for it to matter, for your words to actually matter. But nowadays, I've noticed a lot of people they just don't talk. You like the girl over across the room, but you won't say nothing to her. That makes no sense. So today, I'm just saying, you want to know why your life keeps stalling. And the whole answer is because you won't communicate. You want all this progress, but you won't open your mouth. You want the relationships, but you won't have a conversation. You want the job, but you won't make the call. You want respect, but you basically won't tell people what your boundaries are. You want to be understood, but you refuse to explain yourself. It's like you are blaming everything on all this outside stuff, and really, it just boils down to communication. And the longer you keep staying quiet, don't expect life to open up for you, because it really. And what's crazy is we know a lot of people who talk, who all they do is talk, and they talk a lot of nothing. But stuff open up for them because they can at least articulate themselves. A lot of y'all have made y'all family circle y'all only line of communication. Your mom, your dad, your brother, your cousins, and that's all your communication line. Anybody on the outside, you don't have no words for none of them. And what's crazy is, I get it. We love our family. Yes, we all love our family. But if that's the only people you're communicating with, how do you expect to develop outside of your family? And y'all hear me say this all the time. That's comfort. Because you're staying in your comfort zone, but familiarity is not growth. It's not going to help you grow. Because they can know you completely at home, but them knowing you at home ain't going to help you get that job when you need a job. And a lot of us always like to say, I just don't talk that much. And I would tell you, okay, you don't talk that much, but what you're doing is you're basically building a prison. You're not a people person. Okay, well, what you really mean is you didn't develop your discipline of communication. Because that boils down to fear. You're scared of people. What are you scared of people for? They talk just like you do. They put their pants on one leg at a time, like you do. So I don't understand the reason for not communicating. You basically hiding behind your undeveloped skill of communicating. And that's why I'm speaking on it, because I want y'all to understand that communication is a cheat code. It's a cheat code to life. You can do a lot of things with communication. Some of y'all say you just like to keep to yourself. And it sounds humble, but really it's just fear. Your fear of being misunderstood, your fear of being corrected, your fear of being rejected. But when you're fearful of being exposed and can't hold a real conversation with somebody outside of your circle, it's like all you're doing is hurting yourself. Because silence can look humble on the outside, but while basically you holding arrogance on the inside. Because pride would rather stay quiet than to risk being discomforted. And I know that's the part none of y'all want to hear, but silence isn't always peace. It seems like it's peace, but it's not always. Sometimes it's that pride. It's pride that you just want to stay quiet. And how this actually shows up in your real life, because a lot of us nowadays are digitally active, but we have we're relationally dead. You texting all day. You post on people's stories. You react to reels. You send memes. You comment under every post, but you can't make that one direct phone call to say, what's up? What y'all doing today? You can't have an honest face-to-face conversation. Like the second the person leave, all of a sudden you got all these words to say. Why you couldn't say it to their face? You can't say one uncomfortable truth without shutting down. You're basically digitally loud, but real relationship, real human touch is quiet. So social media has given too many of us the illusion of connection. And let's be honest, we starving for the real thing. You might got 2,000, 3,000 followers, but you ain't got zero person to actually talk to about what you're really going through. Because your comfortability is only in your family circle. Because you'll speak free at home, but when you're out and about, you become awkward, defensive, and just basically walking around silent like somebody done something to you. And please don't let them try to talk to you. You really get real awkward. And like I said, you know how to be known by the people who raised you, but your communication skills requires you to be able to talk to people for your future. Because your career gonna need communication, your marriage gonna need communication, your leadership skills gonna need communication, and ain't none of them things gonna happen inside of your own house. It just ain't gonna happen. You gonna start missing a lot of opportunities, and you go try to blame it on, I don't even want to say blame it on, but you go try to act like it's bad luck because you missed a job because you couldn't introduce yourself well, or you lost that connection because you didn't follow up, or you couldn't follow up. I don't even want to say you couldn't follow up because you can't communicate. You fumbled the opportunity because you couldn't clarify expectations or speak with confidence. And like I said, you keep calling that stuff bad luck. Luck ain't got nothing to do with it. You didn't develop the skill of communicating. It's literally something we have to do. You're expecting people to read your mind, but none of us are mind readers. In friendships, relationships, you want people to decode what your silence and your moods and your mood swings and all that stuff actually mean. And you want people to interpret what your distance mean without you opening your mouth. Like, that's too much work. I'm not doing it. And I know most people ain't doing it. But All you got to do is communicate what your needs are, what your boundaries are, what your concerns, what's your intentions. And then once you do that, you never know where it's gonna go. But being quiet ain't gonna help you at all. But relationships start to die under the weight that you're not saying because you could have spoken it up. And then it starts to create this depression. Because when you spend too much time in your own head, that inner pressure, it starts to build and it starts turning into sadness and frustration and emotional heaviness because you stop reaching out. You stop expressing, you stop connecting with people. And then you wonder why you feel the way you feel. And isolation, it basically feeds what communication could have interrupted. Because that thought that you be having at like 2 a.m, if you would have just said what you had to say at 2 p.m, you could have killed that thought. It wouldn't even come up. But it's like you'd rather suffer in silence than risk being seen. You're perfectly and wonderfully made. God said that in the Bible. And that silence is actually eating you alive. And y'all already know, I come with scripture, so I ain't just making this stuff up as I'm saying it. I'm just saying, I'm going to give y'all some scriptures because y'all need it. Like I said, we got to communicate. Proverbs 18:1. Through desire a man having separated himself, seek it and intermeddle it with all wisdom. When you cut yourself off, you don't become deeper. You become harder to reach and harder to teach. Isolation don't make you wise. It makes you unreachable. Think about that. Proverbs 15:22. Without counsel, purposes are disappointed, but in the multitude of counselors, they are established. What are you trying to build that keeps collapsing because you refuse to have a conversation with counsel and get some outside input? Your plans don't fail because God don't bless them. They fail because you won't even talk to nobody to get some type of correction. None of us know everything. We not perfect. Ecclesiastes 4:9. 2 are better than 1 because they have a good reward for their labor. And life basically advances further when people are connected and working in relationship, not trapped trying to do stuff by themselves. Y'all hear me say that all the time. We can't do this alone. We need people. I don't care what nobody say. Y'all can't tell me no different because I've been on the other side of it. I was the main person cutting people off and put myself in a isolation that was hard to get out of. But now that I'm out of it, I'm out here trying to tell y'all that ain't it. That ain't the place to be. You're way better than that. And there's some people out here who waiting on you, but they can't talk to that version of you. James 1:19. Let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. Communication is not just about talking. It's listening with enough maturity to be teachable. And some of y'all can talk. Y'all can really talk, but you can't listen. That's not communication. That's you broadcasting all your stuff and dumping, but you don't want to hear nothing nobody else got to say. Ephesians 4:29. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to those of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. Your words are supposed to build and help other people and carry some type of substance, not just fill the space with just words. God didn't give you a voice so you could just stay silent. And a lot of y'all are staying silent when it matters the most. Communication, I know it sounds simple, but it's not a side issue. It's one of the main ways life is built, maintained, repaired, or even advanced to do anything for growth. But when you avoid communication, the simple thing of communication, you're not preserving your peace. You're actually creating a level of stagnation that keeps you stuck for years on years on years because you refuse to get out of your own way. And what refusing to communicate is actually costing you is your world keeps shrinking. Your relationships get thinner because people stop coming around. Your opportunities get smaller. Your circles, if you have a circle, and your mind start getting louder. Though they don't mess with me, they hating on me, they doing, come on, man. At some point, it can't be everybody else. When we gonna start pointing the finger back at ourselves? But like I said, it's like you don't want to have a real connection. And you built this prison and you calling it that you being private or you staying to yourself. And you know you're not happy. You know you're not happy. When those thoughts stay unspoken, that pain stays unprocessed, that tension, it starts to build, and that confusion stays internal. Who is that hurting? It ain't hurting nobody, that the people you ain't talking to. It hurts you. It creates that inward pressure, that deep sadness, that loneliness that a lot of us is feeling. And that's what made me want to come up with this conversation, because that loneliness that a lot of men are feeling nowadays is causing that mental exhaustion, when the cheat code is just communication. And like I said, that silence is not protecting you. Sometimes it's actually wearing you down from the inside out. And that's where you got to grow, is from the inside out. But you're not talking or communicating yourself, not even trying, and you wondering what's off. That's what's off. Your communication skills. You got to develop that. And a lot of us, I say that because a lot of us, I'm not telling you to get on no podcast. I'm not telling you to go become a speaker on stage. I'm just saying communicate with the people around you, the people you work with, the people you see at the store. Ain't nothing wrong with saying hi. Yeah, they might not say hi back. So what? But you opened your mouth. I'm telling y'all, that's what the cheat code is. Every time you don't communicate, it basically causes you to struggle to lead, struggle to build trust, struggle to maintain relationships, struggle to navigate conflict. It basically causes you to struggle to move in rooms where the doors only open through connection. Your talent alone will not basically carry you, where poor communication, you're going to have top-notch communication, because poor communication will basically kill whatever talent brings to the table. You got to be able to communicate, because people can't respond to what you won't say. They can't respect your boundaries because you never said you had none. They can't help you with your burdens because you ain't told nobody that you can't do it by yourself. You can't build with somebody who keeps disappearing because of their pride. They can't. I know I'm not. Every time I look up, you ain't around because you too prideful. You're punishing people for not meeting the needs that they didn't even know existed because you wouldn't open your mouth. And after a while, you start calling yourself, like I said, independent, reserved, or I don't even say low maintenance, but you actually just disconnected. Or I'm trying to be nice with it, you really just scared. You're scared because you didn't learn how to communicate. But it's never too late. I don't care how old you is, you can learn how to communicate. And y'all can stop expecting unhealthy communication, because that's basically what you're doing. And you've cornered yourself into thinking that nobody wants to talk to you. How would you know if you never talk? At that point, you ain't protecting your peace, you're protecting your pride. And it's costing you everything that matters, your growth. And like I said, a lot of y'all, I don't talk too much. That's just my personality. That ain't your personality. That's because you got that undeveloped discipline. Y'all hear me talk about that a lot. Discipline. You got to develop that discipline. You only need your family. Okay, I get that. I got a big family too. And I was there. I only need my family. But at some point, everybody grows. And everybody's path ain't different. Everybody's path is different. So your family will be there, but they're going to leave you sitting there holding that bag. You got to move on. Because actually, at some point, it becomes a cage because only thing you've got comfortable with is familiarity, which is your family. Your family can love you and still not be able to carry everything that your growth requires. And then we always talk about how people misunderstand me. Well, have you ever just thought about that you haven't been clear? You haven't really said what needed to be said? Because they misunderstood you once? Well, you wasn't clear enough. So that once, you let that drag on for 4 or 5 years. That's way too long when all you had to do was come back and articulate yourself better. And all that whole, I'm just minding my business. Like I said, that piece is not absence of your communication. It's just not. Sometimes peace only comes after the hard conversation that you keep dodging. And you think people should already know what you're thinking. That mindset destroys all your relationships. It delays your growth. It leaves everybody locked inside of assuming that you never really corrected. You shouldn't have to explain yourself. I always say pride don't always sound loud. Sometimes it's exactly that sentence. You shouldn't have to explain yourself. And it's really killing your connections quietly. But y'all already know, like I said, I'm gonna give y'all a challenge so y'all can try to get yourself out of that whole non-communicating with people. It's a strategy that can help move you forward. So for the next 7 days, I want you to basically initiate one hard but necessary conversation each day, 7 days. Someone outside of your usual family circle. And I want you to stay clear. Say clearly what you've been hiding behind pride or whatever you want to call it. Day one, I want you to call somebody you've been meaning to check on. Not a text. Call them and ask them how they doing and actually listen. Day two, when you go to work or you're at school, introduce yourself to somebody you've been avoiding or ignoring, but you know you're curious about that person. No agenda. You're just trying to connect, see what's going on. Day three, something honest. Say something honest to a friend about something you've been feeling lately. And not on the surface, but, something real. Day four, apologize to someone you owe apology to. And use your own words. Say what you did and own it. Day five, ask someone you respect for advice or counsel about something you're navigating. Let them in so they can help you. Day six, have the conversation you've been avoiding, the one that sits in your chest every night, and you know you want to get it off your chest. You know you need to get it off your chest. Day seven, tell somebody what they mean to you. Say it out loud with your real words, no excuses. Just tell them how they feel. And I'm gonna be honest with you. The first few days it's gonna feel uncomfortable, but it should feel uncomfortable. That's good because we're disrupting your familiarity zone for growth. And when you start to grow, it's hard, but you got to push through it anyway. Your future and what you really want for yourself is on the other side of these conversations that you keep avoiding. You got dreams in your head that never leave. They ain't leaving your head. And they're not going to leave your head until you learn how to talk to people. You got that pain in your chest that never leave your chest because you won't express it. You've got a lot of potential inside of you that the world will never see because you refuse to open your mouth. So that stops today. Communication is not optional. It's where everything begins. It's where the job begins. It's where the friendships begin. It's where the marriages begin. It's where the marriages survive. It's where the conflicts get repaired. It's where wisdom get gained. Because you learn, as you talk, you learn from other people. That's where listening comes into play. It's where the doors get open. And if I'm being honest with you, it's pretty much how life moves, through communication. And I'm starting to notice that that's a lost art in the world that we're living in right now because of social media. Because because you're typing stuff into a screen or on a computer or on a phone, that you're saying what needs to be said. No, you haven't said anything. Think about that. And at the end of the day, that's why your life is stalled. It's not because God forgot about you. It's not because nobody gave you a chance. But it's because you keep sitting in silence that you think it's not silent. Because digital noise, you think you're saying something, but all you're doing is typing. You haven't actually said it. And then the longer that you let pride keep your mouth closed, the more damage that silence is going to basically do in your life. And I know it feels hard now to try to break free from it, but I'm telling you, that's what a lot of this is. That's why I said call it a cheat code. But you can't keep avoiding it. You got to stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for the right words or waiting for the perfect time or for somebody else to go first. Open your mouth and just say what needs to be said or what you think that needs to be said. Because I guarantee you, even if it's not what needs to be said, somebody go correct you. But just stay in the room and speak up. That's all you got to do. And then watch what God does when you finally decide to be present in your own life. That's basically what it boils down to, being present in your own life. But it all starts with communication. So that's the word I got for y'all today, man. That's the cheat code, communication. And y'all already know, come join the free community. Y'all, hey, I'm here. I'm trying to bless y'all with what I've experienced in my life to know to be true. So y'all already know what I like to say. Stay real, stay raw, stay grounded in your faith, and walk boldly in your purpose. Till the next time, y'all, I'm out.